Happy Wednesday, everybody. Max here with your fix of gaming news. Coming up, we have confirmation of who is voicing Rosalina and Bowser Jr. in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Arc Raiders gets its first major update tomorrow, and Battlefield 6 devs respond to players review bombing REDSEC. Let's get into it. This morning kicked off with a bite-sized Nintendo Direct to premiere the first full-length trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which premieres next year. If you want a full breakdown of every little Easter egg and detail that we spotted, we have one of those in the works as well, but one of the biggest reveals in the trailer wasn't what you see, but who you hear. Rosalina, who played a central role in the original Super Mario Galaxy games, and presumably will be a pretty key player in the movie, is going to be played by none other than Brie Larson. Larson has plenty of acting cred, and you likely know her as Captain Marvel in the MCU, and possibly Envy Adams in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but it's also very possible you recognize her from her numerous appearances in Nintendo commercials over the last few years. She's popped up in ads for Switch, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Ring Fit Adventure. Now, obviously, these are paying gigs, but it's very likely that her love of Nintendo was a major factor in her getting and accepting the job, and she's made no secret about how much she loves the company's games.
One of my favorite games of all time, The Legend of Zelda. I've played every form of it on every Nintendo console that's ever come out.
So if there's any concern about actors in a Mario movie not knowing the source material, rest assured that's not an issue in her case. Also, she's said previously that she would love to play Samus if a Metroid movie were ever to happen, so who knows, maybe this is a step toward that. We've got a Zelda movie happening, we've got a Donkey Kong movie, we've got a second Mario movie. Maybe we'll get a Metroid movie. The other big reveal in the Galaxy trailer is that Bowser Jr. is going to be portrayed by Benny Safdie. Benny hasn't had quite as many big roles as Brie Larson, but he's definitely been keeping busy in front of and behind the camera. Benny's first notable appearance was opposite Robert Pattinson in Good Time, which is one of my favorite movies ever, in which Benny Safdie also co-directed with his brother Josh. He also co-created and co-starred in The Curse with Nathan Fielder, which is incredibly nerve-wracking and very weird. Benny Safdie also appears in Oppenheimer and will be in Christopher Nolan's upcoming adaptation of The Odyssey as well. So that's two more great additions to the cast. The big question now, though, is what is going on with Yoshi? He was noticeably absent in the trailer, and it remains to be seen if he'll speak at all or just make Yoshi noises. But let me know in the comments who you think should play Yoshi. I can't even say that with a straight face. I can't wait to find out how they do that. Another big announcement this morning is that the first major update to Arc Raiders goes live first thing tomorrow morning. Well, depending where you live, it might be in the middle of the night or somewhere late in the morning, but I'll get to that in a second. Titled North Line, the update features a new map called Stella Montis, which is just north of the Rust Belt and is described as, quote, cold, pristine, and filled with the remnants of humanity's lost ambitions. But don't expect to just wander over there day one. Before this new area can be explored, players have to earn it by coming together and completing Breaking New Ground, a multi-phase community event. Players will have access to some new gear to help them do it, including the Aphelion rifle, as well as 2 new types of grenades and 3 new mines. But there's also going to be some new enemies to watch out for. The Matriarch is described as a hulking arc that makes the Queen look friendly by comparison, and then there's also going to be the Shredder, which will appear exclusively in the Stella Montis region once that's unlocked, and presumably has more in common with the confidential document disposal device than the Ninja Turtles villain, but I guess that remains to be seen. The new content kicks off tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central European Time, which is 9:30 a.m. Greenwich Time, 4:30 a.m. Eastern, or it's 1:30 in the morning here on the West Coast. So depending where you live, you either want to set your alarms and get up bright and early, or go stock up on some energy drinks and get ready to pull an all-nighter. Stella Montis will feature plenty of new quests and objectives, but jump on them while you can, as there's going to be a whole slew of new content coming in December alongside the next update, which is titled Cold Snap. Elsewhere in the world of live service shooters, Battlefield 6's Battle Royale mode REDSEC has been out for 2 weeks now, which is enough time for players to decide how they feel about it. Unfortunately, the introduction of the new free-to-play mode and the Battle Pass soured the experience for a lot of players who'd been enjoying the base game at launch, and they've taken up arms by leaving thousands of negative Steam user reviews to send a message to the devs. IGN spoke to design director Justin Vebe about the backlash, and he gave some insight into how Battlefield Studios is addressing the deluge of feedback. He explains, quote, "For me, I always say, live service, you have a big clock, and every time there's a player issue, you start the clock and you measure and value your time to the player so that you can make sure that the player and the community knows that we're listening, and we're going to be able to do what we can to react. But we're also weighing that against our future ambitions and all of the different content and experiences we want to create from live services, because this is just the beginning of the experience, and we want to make sure that we're addressing player feedback and we're also adding new and exciting experiences for players to play. So basically, they're trying to strike a balance between fixing the issues that players have with what's already out, but also continuing work on new stuff to add to keep players engaged. And the bottom line is, yes, they're listening. Battlefield 6 definitely seems to have had a better launch than some earlier entries. For instance, Battlefield 4 was a borderline unplayable mess on day one, and Battlefield 5 suffered from a lack of content at launch, and Battlefield 2042 I think was kind of all the above, so could be worse. Battlefield 6 is the fastest selling game in the series to date, selling 7 million copies in just 3 days, and it undoubtedly attracted even more players by then adding a free-to-play mode 2 weeks later, so I imagine there's a lot of feedback for Battlefield Studios to sift through, and I guess, you know, they're trying to get to it. That is your fix of gaming news for Wednesday, November 12th. Before we go, just a reminder, you can head over to IGN's sister site, Humble, to grab 8 amazing games for just $14.99, including Total War, Warhammer 3, Another Crab's Treasure, No More Heroes 3, Etrian Odyssey HD, Pharaoh, A New Age, Synergy, Spin Hero, and Paleo Pines. Best of all, every purchase supports No Kid Hungry, a nonprofit providing meals to students in need. So head over to humblebundle.com and get some great games and also support a great cause. Thank you for watching, everybody. As always, for all of your gaming news, you are already in the right place. IGN. I'll see you next time.